Hi, and welcome to Northwest Brew Talk. I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is episode number 23. Each week we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those involved and drinking Washington beer. With almost 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. On today's show, we're going to have an interview with Skookum Brewery, our brew news and views, and local music from Jody Ellen.
If you have any comments or questions, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, why not become a patron? With the donation, we offer everything from a mention on the show to a copy of our upcoming book, Washington Beer. Head over to nwbrewtalk.podbean.com for more details. To start the show, let's open our first beer.
Okay, and this is Bunghole Double Brown Ale from Snoqualmie Falls Brewing, 7.7% ABV.
Snoqualmie Falls Brewing is located in Snoqualmie Falls, obviously, and was founded in 1997, so they've been in the local brew community for a long time. They are open 7 days a week and serve lunch and dinner, and most importantly for us, they are family friendly.
Yes, that's a big deal for us. And we were there this past weekend interviewing them, and that'll be on in a future episode.
Very nice place, too.
And this has a real nice scent. I like this.
The Bunghole Double Brown Ale. Bunghole's big maltiness and low IBUs make it a great alternative for strong ale lovers who need a break from hop overload. It pairs excellently with the hearty soups and stews of winter and creme brulee. It is a big difference. Nicely and excellently are quite different. 36 IBU and, as you said, 7.7% ABV.
Yep. That it's got a good flavor. I like that. It's a darker color. Dark, what do you call that? Dark amber something. Not real good on those colors and things, but we do like the beer.
It's a process. It's a learning process.
Yeah, pretty good. And now onto our brew news and views.
SeattleBeerNews.com reported another brewery is coming to Seattle.
What?
Yeah. Perry Helium Brewery is owned by Les McAuliffe, who will be the head brewer, and Hunter Jaworski will be his assistant. The brewery will be in the Beacon Hill neighborhood where McAuliffe lives. He said, quote, "I'm excited to finally be doing what I've been dreaming about for a long time. But to do it here, it just couldn't be better. It's really exciting," unquote. He's been homebrewing for over 20 years and plans on having multiple beers on tap when he opens. Quote, "One of the things that I think is exciting when you go into a brewery is to have a big selection. So my thought is that even in this small space, I'd like to have 10 taps. 5 of those might be our standards, while the others might be more experimental type stuff. I think that variety is important," unquote. The brewery will be kid-friendly and have pub food. This will be the first business on Beacon Hill where you can get a growler filled, so if the beer is good, this might be a busy place.
That's right. All right, and here's an interesting beer-related story. Rapper Snoop Dogg filed a lawsuit against Pabst Brewing Company on Monday, June 8th. Snoop filed a breach of contract lawsuit claiming that Pabst owes him a portion of its proceeds from its sale last year. Now, Snoop Dogg signed a 3-year contract to endorse Colt 45's a fruit-flavored beer called Blast by Colt 45. He was also to consult with the marketing team at least once a year on how to integrate the beer into his concerts, interviews, and social media. Pabst paid him $250,000 upfront, plus an additional $20,000 for every 10th mention of the beer on social media, TV, or during a concert. If that wasn't enough, he was also supposed to receive a royalty on each case sold. That was some contract that he signed.
Definitely.
The reason for the lawsuit was Snoop said there was a clause in the contract that he would receive proceeds from any sale. Pabst was sold last year for a reported $700 million. Now, for their part, Pabst claims the sale did not trigger this clause.
Another brewery opened its doors on Friday, June 19th in Gig Harbor. Wet Coast Brewing Company was started by Brian and Molly Copeland and Aaron and April Johnson. The men both work for the fire department and have been working on the brewery for 3 years. The name is in reference to Prohibition and the wets. It also alludes to Washington's reputation for rain, which we actually haven't seen much of for a while.
Not at all.
And another beer concept is coming to Capitol Hill in Seattle. Capitol Hill, Seattle.com reports that Lauren Clabund plans to open a growler fill station and tasting room called the Growl Store this fall. His idea came after he received a CO2-powered tap for growlers called the Growl Tap, which keeps growler beer fresh and carbonated while it sits in your fridge. Clabund said, quote, "I'm not trying to compete with bars. There's a lot of beer that's not in a can or bottle," unquote. So he just wants to fill that niche and plans to source all his beer within 100 miles of Seattle. Should be easy. He even plans to pick up kegs from breweries that don't distribute. An interesting concept, so we'll see where that goes.
Yep, definitely. Now, in other lawsuit news, Anheuser-Busch has reached a preliminary settlement in a class action lawsuit over the labeling of their Beck's beer. In 2013, 3 Beck's drinkers filed the suit after realizing the German beer they were drinking was brewed in the United States and not in Germany like they thought. The lawsuit claimed that Anheuser-Busch used deceptive labeling to mislead consumers into believing that the Beck's beer sold here in the States was made in Germany, when in fact it was brewed in St. Louis, Missouri. Anheuser-Busch said that to them it didn't matter where the beer was brewed, but to the plaintiffs it did. As part of the settlement, Anheuser-Busch denies any wrongdoing, of course. In a statement, they said they believe their labeling, packaging, and the marketing of Beck's have always been truthful, transparent, and in compliance with all legal requirements. They did agree to label the beer brewed in the U.S., though. The settlement breaks down to anyone having receipts for Beck's beer purchases can get up to $50 back. Without receipts, you can get up to a $12 refund. Devin Leonard has been following the story for Bloomberg Business Week. He said, quote, "Beer isn't ketchup. I mean, there's a romance about beer. There's a whole lot of people who drank Beck's and they thought their beer came from Germany," unquote. I'm sure most of our listeners aren't Beck drinkers, but if you happen to drink Beck's in the last couple of years and you feel you were duped into believing it was brewed in Germany, we suggest you find the website and submit your claim. And for the plaintiffs, they receive a whole $5,000. I'm sure the lawyers are making a lot more than that.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that's it for the Brew News and Views this week.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. Or if you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, why not do it now? It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, and Stitcher. If you like us, a review or rating would be really appreciated. But make sure to tell your friends about Northwest Brew Talk.
All right, now we're going to talk to Hollis Wood, the head brewer at Skookum Brewery in Arlington. That's where they are.
So, how did you get involved in brewing?
Well, I kind of started off at home like many people. I worked in the kitchen, spent a little time in culinary school. Wasn't really what I wanted to do. And I was still passionate about cooking, so when I discovered brewing, because I'd always been a fan of beer in general, craft beer, it was kind of an outlet, so it allowed me to be creative and still formulate recipes and play with ingredients, but it didn't keep me at a job until 1 a.m. Mm-hmm. So that's when I, asked Ron if I could just help out around the brewery, work part-time, do whatever needed done, learn, get my hands dirty, and just kept at it, and eventually he offered me a full-time position, and I said, "Oh, yes," yeah. And quit my restaurant job, and it's been great ever since. And that was late 2010, early 2011. So
that's when you started?
Yeah, and then as head brewer probably for a little over 2 years now.
So, what size system do you guys have here?
This is a 10 barrel.
10 barrel, okay.
Yeah, we have 4 10 barrel fermenters, a 20 barrel uni tank, a 10 barrel uni tank that we use for conditioning only because we have open fermenters.
Okay.
As in, they're just not a fully closed system. 2 10 barrel brights and a 20 barrel bright. Okay. So our 20 barrel uni is brand new, only a month or two old.
Okay.
So we're only on our second double batch in it.
Okay.
So, but it's taking a lot of the burden off of the rest of our line here.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, we just probably going to get another 20 barrel uni here within the year.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was the first beer that you brewed?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. It was probably one of our core beers, like Amber, Old Tom, Angel, Brown and Harry, one of those that we've always had. At least the name. I've kind of tweaked all the recipes and played with them and got them where I wanted them.
Oh, yeah.
And then come up with, some of our newer ones that we have on the 360 Pale, the Rye Porter.
So you've been the only brewer since Ron started the business.
Other than him.
Other than him. So he was okay with you tweaking all of his recipes.
Yep, yeah, which is great to have someone with so much faith in you. So
yeah, you run things by him too.
Oh yeah. We kind of bounce ideas still, and once a lot of times he just trusts me to come back and say, well, I think I want to try this, and he's like, sounds good to me. So I don't try to get too crazy.
Sure.
It is Arlington, so you kind of got to brew to the demographic. I don't know if people are ready for some of the things that you can sell down in Seattle.
Right.
Up here,
Not IPA?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a double, 2 singles, and then our 360 Pale is hopped like an IPA, so it's nice and hoppy. And, I think when we figure it all out, it's 50% of our sales or something are IPAs. It's just the way it goes.
Right.
Which is great. I love brewing them. Love drinking them.
So is there something that you haven't done yet that you'd like to try?
There's a lot of things I'd like to try. I'd love to, since we're just trying to get enough kegs and get into distribution and brew enough, but, we've done a little bit of barrel aging in the past, but that's something I want to pursue more of. Pursue some more farmhouse beers, whether it be in barrels or different fruits with them and things like that. So I really enjoy farmhouse ales and saisons in general. So yeah.
So what? So you said IPAs are 50%, about
Basically,
50%.
Yeah.
So what are the other styles that you brew?
We always try to have a stout on. We have probably 2 or 3 different recipes, and we try to go back and forth with them. So there's not always like Murder of Crows is our it's a robust American stout aged on oak cubes that we've soaked in bourbon, and then before that was Breakfast of Crows, which was the same thing with the oak cubes, but it had some espresso, maple syrup, brewed with maple syrup, vanilla beans, oats. So always try to have a stout on, because there's always people that are going to come in and want a dark beer. There's our rye porter, which is a little more light. Probably I came up with that recipe a year ago. But I've progressively at 35% rye, which is a hell of a sticky mash, but I really like what it does to the beer. So, and then of course Amber is actually our biggest seller, but with different IPAs they make up the majority of our sales, but Amber is our biggest selling beer. It's a good starter beer for a lot of people. I usually drink macro lagers. Well, maybe try this, it's got a little more flavor, and then, that's good. And then like we kind of evolve and try out new styles and want bolder and bigger and hoppier. But, yeah.
So you said you're probably going to get another tank. So you guys bottle.
Yep. Yeah, we just started. Our first bottling run was in February, actually.
Okay.
So we've only been doing Mammoth, our double IPA.
Okay.
And we bottle like every 3 weeks. So every time a batch is ready, we'll bottle a portion of it and then keg the rest. And, yeah.
So do you know the goal to do more bottling, bigger production, and bigger distribution?
We just signed off on the label art and packaging for Amber's Hop Friend, and then we want to do Murder of Crows as well. So.
Okay.
Do we want a beer?
I'm okay right now.
You all right?
I'm good too. Yeah, I'll wait a minute. And then Murder of Crows. So we kind of want to have a couple different things in bottles. So it would be the Mammoth Jack, Murder of Crows, and then Amber. Just because we wanted some things like Murder of Crows, for instance, it's an imperial stout. There's not a lot of 4-packs of, you can go, obviously you can find Rasputin and 1050 and Narwhal, which all great beers, but that's only 3. I could think, I'm sure there's more, but usually you find big old bottles of imperial stouts. So I have to drink this all to myself. So it's nice to have 4-packs of things. I like the 12-ounce format. Maybe it's, you don't have to commit to as much.
Right.
Find somebody to help drink. We kind of like that 12-ounce.
Yeah.
And we bought a used Maheen bottler. And
Okay.
So hopefully, if this starts paying for itself, we can get a bigger machine.
Right,
or
right.
Maheen, excuse me, which is a machine in itself.
Right.
But yeah, we've toured their facility over there in Pasco, and they make for being almost 20 years old, it works really well, actually. So it's quite surprising.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, do you know how many accounts you guys distribute to?
Oh, no idea right now. Yeah, Crown Down the Road distributes our beer in Snoqualmie, Skagit, Island, and the 2 other surrounding counties around here. And then, so if we wanted to go up to Whatcom, we would have to do it ourselves.
Okay.
But I do distribute rarely because I don't have time anymore. We'll try to get somebody in a run down to Seattle, the east side. So like last week we sent beer to Flat Stick Pub in Kirkland, and then Chuck's is in Greenwood, and then on Central District. They take a lot of our beer. They blow through beer. They do a great job at selling all the beer there.
Yeah.
So and we're typically on tap at Chuck's whenever we can get down there.
Okay, cool.
We've been across the water there in West Seattle to Beer Junction as well.
So, how many brews do you do per week?
I did 3 this week,
Okay.
so 3 is kind of like becoming the minimum,
Okay.
which is getting tough because I need Ron's working with Brandon, who works part-time here on the weekends because he has a full-time job. But we're hoping to bring him or somebody, and he's been to the 1-year course over at Central for brewing.
Okay.
So we'll see. If he wants to get on board, I would love to have him because I'm just, between Ron and myself, it's just too hard to keep up right now. So, but 3 is becoming the minimum just to keep up at this point. I'm sure it'll get to a brew almost every day. And then we were talking about, if somebody like Brandon was to come on, just double brews, where I'm handing him the mash paddle as I'm walking away, and just kind of, which you see all the time. I mean, people are quad brewing just to fill their fermenters. So we're just not that, our production-wise, like bottling and everything, isn't that big yet to be able to do that. But yeah.
So they've been open since 2006, right?
7.
2007.
Yeah.
And was this their only location?
No, it used to be across the freeway over on their actual property.
Oh, okay.
They had like kind of a barn building where they crammed all this equipment, sans the 20 barrel, into a 1,700 square foot building. You would I'm sure you've been into some tight breweries. It was very tight. Yeah. So coming here and brewing is almost like a breeze. Just being able to walk through your tanks. It's pretty nice. So and then it just became too busy, and then there was problems with the road and neighbors not wanting traffic. So they're like, all right, we just need to get our business out of here. And it's been, there's a lot of people that are like, I like how intimate the old place was, but it's like, well, this is where we are, and we've tried to kind of bring that little feel to it here, and it's been real successful here, so it's been good. Yeah, and then we're able to have a kitchen too. So
we got a huge tap room here. I mean, are you open 7 days?
No, we're closed Monday and Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday?
Yeah.
But is like on Saturdays, Fridays, Saturdays, this place gets busy?
Yeah, especially Fridays. And Saturdays are more of like a steady day. Like people will come in and out, but it'll pick up.
Right.
And Fridays are in here. If we're not open, if it's not nice outside, it's usually standing room only, which gets a little crazy. So it's wonderful to be able to open the door and have, twice the amount of seating. So, and I'm not here a lot on Saturdays and Sundays. So, but I know sales are going real well on those days. And I'm only here for part of the day. Like yesterday, I was out at 2. I've been here, or 2:30. I've been here since 5. So. I try to get all my brewing done and out of the way because we open at noon. So I want grain out of here, so I'm not having to run a forklift or anything while we're open.
So have you entered any of your beering competitions?
We did. We entered 5 beers this year. Okay. They'll be announced at the Father's Day Festival. Last year we won 2 silvers and a gold and that same competition, like the Washington Beer Awards. So that was pretty cool. That was the first time we'd ever entered, and just to come away with a few medals was great. Yeah. Makes you feel pretty good about what you're doing.
So were those yours last year?
Yeah.
That you worked
there
out?
was the Baron Wood, which won gold. It was a barrel-aged strong ale. Nice. And that was my recipe. And then we won silver for a Brown and Harry. Which is like a brown ale / brown porter, and then Mammoth Jack took silver as well.
Okay, so cool. So did you enter those again this year, or different ones?
No, we did all different, just for fun.
Just
like why not? So this year we did the rye porter, our cameo, farmhouse, our saison, Amber's hot friend, which is an amber ale, obviously. Breakfast of Crows, and Jackass IPA.
Nice.
So, see how we do with those.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure it'll be the same deal next year. We'll try to get some different beers in there just to see how they do.
So, what do you think makes your beers stand out?
Well, I really try to pay attention to, obviously, quality. Always trying to find new hop varieties that we can get a hold of. It's hard. The hop market's crazy right now, and just getting things on contract or spot hops is tough. So, when I brew an IPA, I make an IPA. I hop it to L, and that's what I try to do. Make it bold, like our rye porter. I didn't just use 10% rye. I tried to put a lot of rye in 4 different varieties. So you actually get that rye flavor. Right. So many times I've had beers where it claims to have something in it, and I don't get it. I want it to be there, but balanced at the same time. I don't want it to be like, oh, this is a candy cane stout, and then it tastes like you're sucking on a candy cane. Obviously, nobody wants that, but so quality ingredients. I'm really a stickler for. On brew day, I want everything perfect. I want to dial in my temperatures, my efficiency, my hop utilization, all that. So,
now, are there any hops or any grains that you're particular to?
Well, a lot of our base malt is all Washington Select, so it's grown in Washington. And then I'm a fan of, I do like in the 360 Pale, I use a British Pearl malt, which is a pretty expensive malt, but I love the little nutty flavor that it has, and it's nice and clean. I do like the use of oats a lot, like in our Pale, oats, and then a stout, and then our rye porter, there's flaked rye, which is, a pressed malt, and I think it gives good mouthfeel. And I'm a big fan of oats and IPAs. It sounds strange, but it kind of just gives a little more body, especially to a Pale that's only 5.5%.
Okay.
But drinks like an IPA.
Sure.
Like Old Tom, for instance, it's kind of a maltier IPA, and there's some special B in there, which gives it that toasty, bready flavor. So it's kind of our training. We call it our training wheels IPA, where people, if they're going to be drinking ambers or lagers, and like, I can handle this. It's still got that malty sweetness to it, but still has a hop bite. So
their step into the IPA world.
Yes, and never go back, basically.
Yep. So are your IPAs like West Coast?
Old Tom's more, I guess you would say,
that one.
Northwest. But Jackass for sure. Yeah. Very light malt, very heavy hops. Same with Mammoth. I try to get it nice and dry too. So it's crisp, nice, clean bitter bite, not an oily bitter finish. Very West Coast.
So have you found once you started brewing full time, even I guess when you were working part time, did you find that there was a lot of things that you didn't know that that as a home brewer that there's a lot?
Oh, there's plenty, especially with just learning. I mean, you learn everything from glycol systems to how to just clean a tank properly. I mean, there's so much to learn starting off that you've never done at home because, you can't really.
Right.
And I guess one of the biggest things is just learning how much paperwork there is.
Yeah.
Like what a headache it is. I'm almost glad I'm not the owner.
Yeah.
Because it's just constant, keeping track of every single ounce of beer you make, you sell.
Really.
Getting name approval, label approval, just everything always has to be accounted for. And I'm glad I'm not on that end. Which, who's to say one day I won't be? If I want to step up and Ron wants to, be a business owner instead of constantly working all the time like he is. Like because right now he's insulating lines and repairing a leaky glycol line, and so. Yeah, that's one of the things. It's just, and it's constant maintenance, like cleaning and maintenance. But at the end of the day, when you get to see somebody happy about the beer you made, it's worth it.
Yeah.
But
Well, you're not here. You leave before they come in.
No, I'm here. I'm here Wednesday, Thursday, and part of the day Friday. So we open at noon on Thursday, and so I get to chat with people. But that is one thing I do like having weekends off, but then I miss the interaction with the people that come in and drink the beer. So
right, because you've got these recipes that you've crafted, and they're there for people to taste. And you ever get negatives?
I had a guy the other day who the Mammoth, I've messed with the hops just the tiniest bit, and
he knew.
He swore. No, because we told him.
So then he can taste it.
It was all mental. But there's people that just don't. I mean, there's people that genuinely don't like saisons. So when they try, you're like, I don't like it. I'm like, we don't like saisons, so you're probably not gonna like it.
That's different than not liking yours.
But hopefully you can. There's beers that can change people's minds. So I hope some of these are mind changers where I don't like dark beer. Well, maybe try this one, and they're like, it's not too bad. So. There's always that where I think people have this perception of certain beers, and it's hard to get them off that. People ask me, what's your favorite? So I'm like, I really like all of them if they're done really well, and they all have their place. That's not going to mean I want to drink them every day, but and I like criticism too. It's great. If it's somebody just saying they don't like it and they can't tell me why, then I don't understand that. But if it's somebody in the industry saying, this kind of has this, I'm like, that's good to know. But then as a brewer, it's hard to tell somebody that because then you don't know what they're going to think of you. Like, oh, who's he to tell me? So I don't know. I usually just keep to myself about other people's beer.
Yeah, I get that.
There's
understand that.
plenty I like, but I'm not. Yeah, we'll stay off that.
Yeah.
Just because. Well, there are brewers I know that I go for. I'll talk to for their
Advice.
opinion on
Yeah,
things, and then
exactly.
vice versa. Like Sean over at Whitewall. Like we'll chat. And, yeah. We were actually in our homebrew club.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
right.
Distilling
Yeah,
Masters.
that.
Neither of us go anymore. We're just so darn busy.
Yeah.
Although I'd love to. Just a lot of people that I love just chatting with and sharing beer with. But yeah, I need to get back to just brewing in my garage a little for fun. I have a 2-year-old, so I haven't brewed at home in about 2.5 years.
Yeah, with a young one and full-time job.
She's
It's tough
she's
to manage.
taken over the garage with all of her how fast she grows. So
yeah.
all the
Stuff. Yeah.
old stuff ends up out there.
I know
so.
that.
Hoping to clean out and experiment at home a little bit more.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to anything wild that we wouldn't want in here. Why not do it at home and
Yeah.
play with
and
things.
if it was something that something that looked really good.
Yeah.
We could always try it out here.
Yeah, and I've been doing, nothing's on right now, but I've been trying to do little variants of all of our beers for fun. We'll do like Murder of Crows on raspberries, or the rye porter with pecans, vanilla and sea salt, like a pecan pie rye porter.
Oh, nice.
And we're actually going to take a keg of that to the Father's Day Festival.
Yeah.
So there'll be a full half barrel of it on Friday night. So I'm not sure if any will go into Saturday. We'll see.
Yeah.
But something to look forward to there.
Now, are there any styles you haven't done yet? Did I bring
There's
that
some.
up?
Yeah, no, I don't think you have. There's plenty.
Yeah.
There's lots. There's about 100 Belgian styles I've never done.
So you'd like to try Belgian?
Yeah, I really like kind of just, I've been reading up on like a Belgian table beer, something crisp, almost like how we have a pale ale here, or, then you have like almost like a saison, something you drink with a meal, but
Right.
so kind of hoppy, dry, mildly malty, a little bit of that Belgian spice from the yeast, and something like that, refreshing. But there's a lot of people that come in and they say they want something Belgian. So there's a lot of fans out there that aren't, believe it or not everybody's a hophead. I don't know why, but
They live
yeah.
here.
So I've been kind of just playing with the idea and kind of reading up on them, and there's some commercial ones I really like, and like, even though they're not in our state, Russian River had a great, Redemption's always been a great hoppy Belgian, but nothing like our version of hoppy. We did a Pilsner, which sold really well. It was my first lager that I'd done here, and it turned out great. It's not on anymore, but
Right.
I'm thinking about doing it again. It's just a matter of having the space to do it, because it's going to be a fermenter / conditioner hog for a lot longer than any of the beers we are doing now.
Right.
So we might wait and see how the summer goes and see if we're able to do it again. I really liked it, though. I feel like I've taken a step back off bold, big, huge flavors, even though I still brew them and I enjoy them, but I kind of like simplicity. A nice Pilsner,
And sometimes
easy drinking pale.
those are harder. You can't cover everything
Yeah, the
up.
Pilsner was like, I was admittedly scared to
Yeah.
brew it. I'm like, all right, this better be right.
Yeah.
So I got good German malt, Czech Saaz hops, and just kind of went very basic. Didn't try to do anything, well, I'm going to use, Citra hops in my, well, no, let's just try let's get the Pilsner down first. So, and then see where we can go from there.
Right.
And I really liked it. I like drinking it.
You guys do or plan on doing like any barrels?
We hope to, yeah.
Yeah.
We're hoping to hopefully acquire some wine and any sort of whiskey / bourbon is whiskey. So
Right. So
yeah.
do two different kinds.
Yeah. Get something going.
Right.
That's like kind of a next step thing, because We just got the fermenter. Yesterday we just got 64 new half barrels.
Okay.
So we're just trying to like have enough our production to be enough where we can actually have a day where we can have a brew day to fill barrels when we get them, and that won't kind of break into our time of doing the beers we need to always have on tap here and out in distribution. So
Right.
it might be a weekend project.
Nice. Awesome. Well, Hollis, thanks very much for your time.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. Thanks for coming in.
All right, thanks to Hollis Wood from Skookum for joining us today. Now it's the beginning of the month, so let's try another beer. This is Oakshire Brewing from Oregon and the Watershed IPA.
Oakshire Brewing is located in Eugene, Oregon, as Mike just said, and opened in October 2006. They have the story that many breweries have. It started as a hobby and grew into a business. They opened a public house in 2013, which is open every day, and around 5 p.m. a food truck usually comes by.
All right, this has a very golden color. Nice big head on it. As soon as I opened the bottle, you could smell all those hops and citrus flavors.
The Watershed IPA has IBU of 70 and ABV of 6.7%. A Northwest-style Indian Pale Ale highlights the flavors and aromas of our region's best hops. Crisp, dry, and refreshing, this dry-hopped IPA is smooth and easy to drink, and that's right from their website.
And that, yes, that is good. That's a good IPA. It is got the little bitterness there at the end, but it is pretty smooth. It is a nice beer.
Good. We like to try get it out of state brewery for our third beer for the first of the month, but
Yep.
try something different.
Yeah, no, different in companies, not necessarily different in flavors.
Yeah, you never know.
No, but yeah, that was good. Now, we'll be right back after a local music break from Seattle singer-songwriter Jody Ellen.
As I lie awake, I feel our heart break, but you see through me, right
was Kaleidoscope from Jody Ellen. You can check her out at jodyellen.com. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today. And now let's try our third beer. This time we have
Wide Hollow Pale Ale from Berchman's Brewing Company.
Berchman's Brewing Company is located in Yakima, and they are very new. They've only been licensed since October of last year, 2014, and have been fully operational since January of 2015. They do not have a tasting room yet, but they do distribute locally and are making their way to as many festivals as they can in the area.
Okay. This is light golden.
Oh, yes, very light.
Yellow. Gold.
The Wide Hollow Pale Ale is 40 IBU, 6% ABV, brewed with Yakima Valley hops. This pale ale is refreshing and light sibling to their Indian Pale Ale.
Yeah, this is very light, very palatable. This has a different flavor to it. Hopefully it's not all of my beers mixing together, but it's got a little different flavor to it. We'll have to try some more, see how this goes. But yeah,
Quite the head on that too.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, we visited them last week too. They'll be on in a future show. But that, my friends, brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure that you tune in next week when you're going to talk with Rooftop Brewing from Seattle.
This show is produced and edited by me with engineering help from Michelle Rizzo.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at 541-595-TALK.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hopping, my friends.